Kill your darlings, even if it breaks your egocentric little scribbler's heart. A collaborative quote by William Faulkner and Stephen King. What does this have to do with your time? Hi, this is Melissa Ann Dillon with Mad About Time, and today we're going to talk about two iconic writers and this quote that I just stated, because it's one that has actually changed my life and changed the way that I approach pretty much everything in life when it comes to doing. So what does this have to do with you? When William Faulkner and Stephen King stated this quote, of which William Faulkner, of course, coined it, and Stephen King took it and extrapolated from it. But what does that have to do with doings versus writings? So they were talking about authors and writers, and what they mean by that is people can get attached, writers get attached to the characters, and they really don't want to get rid of one, even if it makes sense as the story unfolds. So when you are doing something, any project, or you have any goal that you're working on, it is so easy to get attached to what you initially imagined when you kicked off your action on your goal. So can you think of anything that you're working on right now where you feel stuck, or you feel like you're trying to push a square peg into a round hole when it comes to the next step? And so it's leaving you actionless, and you've put something away and you're not working on it anymore, or you're feeling stress. Maybe in your body you're feeling like, I really wanted this to work. Why isn't it working? I want you to work. This is my one chance to make it work with this idea that I had, and the idea that I had in my mind about how this is going to look. What if you unpacked your idea or your goal and reevaluated the way that you're approaching it? What if there is an alternative way that you haven't even thought of because you're so attached to what you had initially imagined? I do this a lot. I catch myself doing it. So I'd love to hear from you if you're struggling the same way, because I'd like to go deeper on this topic, as deep as I can with you, over multiple episodes, if that's what it takes, to really think about how many darlings, if you're going to take your ideas and call them your darlings, how many darlings do you need to get rid of? Just axe them and try a different way. You'll find that if you are open-minded to letting that go, then your world of creativity could really open up for you. Now, what does it mean when Stephen King said, even if it breaks your egocentric little scribbler's heart? Egocentric, or the ego, can really get into the way because it's the construct of who you are in your brain. And I've mentioned this in a couple episodes before, that I will talk about that a lot here, is that who you are is not your brain. Your brain has the ability to take over because it is very strong and powerful, and empowers you as a human to do some really cool stuff. And your brain is where logic and creativity come from. But if you get attached to your idea of what something's supposed to look like that you're working on right now, then what it's supposed to look like for you might be different than what your idea is. And your ideas might be based on constructs from the external. Maybe that's the way that your friend is doing it, or you've seen it done before, or that's the way that you learned the step-by-step process of how to accomplish your goal, but maybe it's not the right way to do it for you. And this can come up a lot, not only in just your creativity, locking you down and pigeonholing you into trying to make something work, which is no longer creative now. Now you're trying to create a process versus trying to create for art's sake, making something beautiful. But it also has to do with the way that we run our time. So you may be attached to the idea of how much time something may take for you. That could be a number of things in your life. It could be something as simple as daily chores and how long you think that's supposed to take, how long you think it's supposed to take to clean house. Maybe you're attached to how long you're supposed to work on any particular steps in your project. And to avoid repeating myself here, I feel like I'm saying the same thing over and over. I'm just trying to express to you what I think you need to hear in as many different ways as possible, in case each of you hear different tidbits of what I'm saying here. But it's so easy to get attached to time and how much time we're supposed to allot to something, when if we just let that go and go, you know what, I don't need to spend this much time. How fast can I get this done? Let's get it done faster. Then you can check the box and move on to your personal enjoyments, have more time for personal joy. What do you think? Now, please chime in if this is resonating with you, where you're like, yes, this totally makes sense, and I've done this in my life and it's worked for me too. Please chime in, because there are people listening right now that need to hear from you too. It's not just me. We're a village here. We look out for each other here at Raising Kindness, and we need to work together to inspire each other. And all of us are at different stages. So if you have a little story, a couple comments you can share about how you have applied a similar strategy to accomplishing things and how you treat your time, please chime in. Can you understand a little bit about where I'm going with this quote too? I love it. I mean, the first time I heard Stephen King talk about this, it was a YouTube snippet of a speech that he was doing, and he expressed, when he first heard William Faulkner's quote, it really inspired him and changed his life. That's why Stephen King is attributed to saying it so much, because he has taken it and run with it. And it's so true how locked on we can get into our expectations and attachments on how things should appear that are very different than how they should actually unfold. And I'm speaking in abstract here because I think this could apply to so many different things in your life. How many things in your life do you think you can just let go or reevaluate, or not evaluate at all? Just keep going. What's the next step that you can take, the next baby step that you can take in your life right now that has been stuck? Think of a place where you're stuck, and is it because you're attached to an outcome? And letting go of that attachment is when the real fun begins in life. And I struggle with this too. I mean, we're all babies in this. I think mindful living and consciously thinking about our time is a new concept to us as humans. So we're not going to be experts here, and I'm sure there are plenty who are experts, but most of us are still figuring out our way. We were not raised in this environment, so don't beat yourself up if this is hard for you to let go and not be attached to your ideas of what your outcomes should be in your life. So I'm going to leave that here. I'd love to hear from you too. Please review this podcast if you're enjoying it so far. We've had a few episodes in now, and I would love to hear from you. Please comment if you're listening to this on YouTube. Please give us a rating so that we can get found by more parents just like you who might be struggling with the same things. If this resonated with you, please let me know. I want to hear from you too. So thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Take care and enjoy today.